Hi guys, today I have a sketchbook tour ready for you. This is the sketchbook I'm going to show you. There are 32 pages in it and I use just one side of it. It's a good size paper, is 300 of weight, and this is the brand. Some of my artwork are going to be attached to the wall and not in here. I think I have another one. This is the very first one I painted in this sketchbook, and it was September of 2022, and I took this with me in holiday. It was very dark and I didn't really know what I was doing, but yeah, that's the result and I sort of like it. I hung this to my wall, but it came out, so it came back in here. I have another one in my wall, on my wall, that I attached the picture right here, and that is done with soft pastel. Here, as you see, it was autumn, it was a pumpkin season, and I was having fun painting pumpkin that I bought myself, so I use my own reference. As for this one was also from my own reference. And this was October, and then I made this quick little sketch. I looked for a reference online, and this was also made with only watercolor, but I think the watercolor that I have been using the most is the Mia watercolor palette. This was the first palette that I bought that had a bit more value for me, and I was bringing with me everywhere. This a bit more abstract. I use no reference at all for this one. As you can see, I was just playing with the color and putting color on the page. And clearly it was coming Christmas time, so I made this one and I share it with you in a video. I'm not sure if there is another one coming. This one I really love. I think I was using the Peerless watercolor. They are quite intense and lovely color. I enjoy the result. This one I made with only 3 color. I have only 3 color of the Rosa Gallery, and I really love them. And I bought it in a shop in Hungary as a loose watercolor, and I'm waiting to go back there so I can buy some more because they were quite cheap there. Yeah, that's what we made with only 3 color. We create some shading, some dimension, and it was a very quick painting with no reference. That was really good to do. I love this one so much. I think this is probably one of my favorite, and this is also where I start to realize that I may enjoy mixed media. Here, as you see, it's a bit shiny. I use quite a bit of different material. Watercolor was my base, and I really like this soft background that I left it with only watercolor. But then, as you see, there is some gold in here, which I believe to be probably my Winsor & Newton ink. I'm not sure I added already, with just some metallic pen probably. Some white gel pen, Caran d'Ache pencil, luminance pencil I've been using a lot in here, a bit everywhere to create dimension, and I really love the final result. This is one of the pieces I'm most proud of. and this was in December. Here I was following on an online class, but yeah, it was going quite fast for me, so should be 2 pages. Who knows where it's gone, the other one. Yeah, so that's the result. Not the best, because of course if you want to do it perfect, you have to take your time, but it was nice to just practice. Here is another mixed media piece, and once again it made me realize how much more I enjoy to paint mixed media. I always love the result more. Here I use a new color 1 from Caran d'Ache, and there is always a background of watercolor, and I think I use also some metallic pen I can see in here, and I'm not sure what else. I did took advantage of some negative space. It's not something I do a lot because white scare me. But here it came out really good, and I enjoyed this one. I'm so proud of this one. Okay, this is another quick just watercolor painting that I did without any reference, just playing around. Okay, here I use Winsor & Newton Cotman Landscape, so sometimes I did write on the back what I use. This is another one that I really like. It's very simple, very soft, but I think the color are really nice. And this also I use the Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set. Lovely color. I use as a travel palette, and I'm very satisfied with the color selection. I can do everything I want. This is a still life painting. I also learned that I enjoy a lot to do still life, and this one, same set, Winsor & Newton Cotman set, and I really like how it came out. I don't aim with a too realistic result, but yeah, I like the shading. This I was following an online class with HR Studio. He had 5 free classes online available, and one was how to do portrait in watercolor, and this was the result. Not the best, but it's not the worst. Also, I really like the background. Honestly, like the shading, it's really nice, really good. Okay, I really like this one as well. It was so good. Here I use some white gel pen as well on top of some watercolor, and I may have used something else. No, here it was the rest of the YouTube class I was following. Yeah, really nice. Really like this one. And I don't know how I feel about this one. The background is definitely too dark, or the foreground is definitely too dark. I still cannot crack it. I actually really like how the background came to be, but the flower are not the best. And here, to try to save it, also I did some mixed media work, but still I just don't think it came out as I want it to be. It's too much dark on dark, so there's not enough contrast. But yeah, here I start to do a few pieces from imagination, and I never get around to finish it, and it's not gonna happen. This one also another mixed media based on watercolor with some metallic pen and a few white ink, Winsor & Newton ink that I splash all around. Yeah, cute. Here it's This one is terrible. I was attempting illustration of people, and I just don't enjoy do that. I don't like do that, and yeah, I'm still learning to become confident with the material at this point, what works on which kind of paper. So clearly the material I chose didn't work on this paper. Now I know. Here I was following more online classes. This was how to paint loose mountain, always with the Etcher Studio in watercolor. This was all watercolor. This was watercolor and ink, also an online class. I think I did like 4 classes in one day almost. This also was part of a class, online class project, and yeah, it's really pretty. And this was about portrait in watercolor and different skin tones. This sketchbook is just falling apart. And this was for me with my own reference picture, actually found from a book, and I do not remember. I think I used Daniel Smith watercolor. Yeah, I got a Daniel Smith dot card, and I decided to try out in here, and I really like the result. And so I really like Daniel Smith paint, but it's really expensive. All right, I have this one also. I did some mixed media work in here, just some little pen outline and some dots inside, nothing major. This one as well, I think I was using some very cheap watercolor, and I really didn't like the result, but I didn't write which watercolor. That's something that I regret not doing, because with the time you forget, and the actual watercolor you're using will define your artwork a lot. And I went ahead and added something more with pen as well in here. I think this was definitely a mixed media piece, starting very badly because I wanted to just use a new cheap set of watercolor that I bought, but it just didn't give me any vibrancy, and I was very disappointed. So I basically started to throw everything I had to it, like a Stabilo pens I think I had, ink, Neocolor one, Caran d'Ache luminance pencil, and yeah, everything I could find around, and I like the result again so much more. I'm always happier when there is a mixed media around. Okay, this is something that I came out with very recently. Basically, I enjoy a lot to do some intuitive abstract painting with mixed media, and I had a page free, so I decided to try on this cold press paper that has texture, and I use what I think was some leftover acrylic paint as a base. Yeah, it's definitely no watercolor, and I went ahead and added some oil pastel. When I use oil pastel, I'm always putting some scrap paper in it because I don't want it to smudge. I use some metallic gold pen, white gel pen, some silver ink here, and a bit of everything, and I really like the result. Oh, I like this one as well. It's another little quick mixed media piece with watercolor pencil, gel pen, and acrylic paint marker. I will release these as a very quick video sometime in the future. This is another video we made together recently as well, and it's also based in mixed media with a watercolor wash at the beginning, and then basically everything I had. Yeah, there is a lot going on in here. I really like it. And I had a few spare pages. Something came out from here, something were attached to other sketchbook. I had left just a couple of pages and I ripped them off and put it in here. This was a calligraphy ink painting experiment that we guys did together in the past. Like, very happy with it. Really like how I could blend things together despite being calligraphy ink and no paint. So really happy with it. This paper is much cheaper, you can feel it, and also the paint I was using much cheaper. This paint was probably from my hometown, which means it was my school paint. Very cheap. You can see there's no vibrancy, there's no definition, there's nothing. I really don't like it. And this is done actually even before that, so I guess I started in November 2022 with this piece of watercolor paper that is really not recommended. I don't even know what's that. Here, very recent as well. All the abstract intuitive artwork I'm doing, it's fairly new in the past month or two, and I love it. There is once again everything experimenting with mark making and just having lots of fun with color and paint. This was also old paper of another sketchbook. Really ugly paint, ugly paper, and ugly result, so not much to say in here. And they are not in order, they are not in line as you've seen. Actually, this couple of loose paper in the end were done very early on, and some paper inside they all got mixed up because the entire notepad is just falling apart. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, please click the like button. If you like to join the community, subscribe. And if you watch until now, let me know by writing in the comment the word sketchbook. Also, I would like to know which type of creation and artwork was your favorite one. You can write the timestamp if you cannot really describe it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.